Hello and welcome back. My name is Jeremy, and last time we talked about the get. And I said there was a few bad things about the get. There's actually some nice things about it too. For one, with the get, you can actually save them as bookmarks, so that kind of helps out quite a bit there. Also, I like to use the get for testing purposes. So if you had a URL that was www.example.com slash and then a script that would be executed, and it'd capture some stuff and then it would display back to the user. But then you have your URL with this, like I said, with the question mark, and name would equal, say, Jeremy, and age would equal, and then age would say was blank for some reason. Then you would have another and we'd say, we'd ask them what their favorite color was and say that it was green. Well, I could look at the URL and notice that, well, I'm missing my age, so I can go back and check my scripts to see where I messed up and if I did mess up somewhere. So that being said, let's talk about the post. Now, the post, bookmarking or trying to reuse that URL with the same data it just is impossible. Also, another bad thing about the post is if you hit the refresh button, it could cause all that information to be transmitted. So an example of that is, say like you're trying to set up a user profile, and you ask them a bunch of questions and stuff like that, and it gets dumped into a database. By them hitting refresh again, all that stuff could be dumped back to that database again and again and again, unless you got some type of redundancy checking going on. So those are a few bad things about the post. A good thing about the post is everything is encoded, so it's not shown in the URL like you would with the get. So the good and bad being covered about the post, let's go ahead and just recycle last week's form that we made. We're just going to change a couple things. Oops. First, we're going to change this get to a post. We're going to keep the action the same. Okay. For the name, we're not going to change nothing at all. For the age, it's going to stay the same. The submit button is going to be the same. One thing I wanted to point out with this submit right here, I like to name them something a little different. So the type of submit, that's what it has to be named. But for this name here, you can name it whatever you want. I like to call it button. I've seen some people call it submit, submit, and submit. To me, it gets a little confusing. So let's go down to this little script right here. Then we're going to change this get. Well, we'll go ahead and change all these real quick, and I'll go over it a little bit. So it's going to be post. Okay. So that's done. So what this is saying, if you didn't watch my last videos, is if this is set, so if this button is set or pressed, go ahead and we're going to assign this name from this form to this variable called first name, and also we're going to set the value of age and assign it to this variable called age. And of course we're going to echo back out to the screen first name. We're going to have a break so they're not right next to each other and it'll be on a separate line, and then we're going to echo out the age. So let's go ahead and run this. So this is what it looks like. We'll type in Jeremy and we'll put in 21. We'll hit submit, and as you can see, the username and the age that they gave comes back out. Excuse me. I also wanted to show you the password too, how it doesn't really change much except for the URL. So we'll say password. The type has equal password. Pass. And instead of calling it age, I'm also going to call it pass, so it just looks a little different. I'm going to change this to pass. This to password. And this is password as well. And we'll save this. We'll go ahead and clear out this page. And we'll say Bob is password is 12345, which is not a good password. Don't recommend using it at all. But that being said, we'll hit submit, and you see the password, and excuse me, you see his name Bob, and his passwords come out. Well, you'll notice here in the URL it doesn't have that question mark name equals, Bob. Whoops, Bob, and password equals 12345. So now you don't see that stuff no more, which is kind of nice. Well, but like I said, with the downfall of it is if they kept hitting refresh or submit or whatever, it would just keep getting retransmitted over and over and over again. That's really about the only big difference between the post and get. Next time I'm going to be covering over some other ways we can manipulate the user input. So if you have any questions, comments, go ahead and leave them. Don't forget to subscribe, like, dislike the video. You guys have a good day. Thank you.